there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hey guys, welcome back once again to Niagara Fire Corals. Make sure you stick around. Today we're going to be talking about reef tank dosing and what I'm dosing to the 350 gallon system.
Go, 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 yo, go, go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go, go.
Alright guys, before we get into the main body of the video here, I just want to say that this entire video is solely going to be based around my 350 gallon system. If you guys have been following me, you probably already know how I'm dosing the other three systems I have, but they're very simple, quick rundown. Both the nano tanks, the Reef Casa Studio 12 and the 20 gallon nano that are on my right and left side here, those two tanks are being dosed with Ready to Reef right now, but I think I'm going to give All for Reef a try when I run out of the Ready to Reef. Just want to see the differences in the two. The 150 gallon frag system that's to the left of my main display, that system is solely being done with calcium reactor and water changes. So those systems are very simple. The main display with the 80 gallon frag system attached to that and 125 gallon sump, the much larger system, it's a little more involved, and that's what we're going to go over today and talk about. So I just wanted to let you guys know we're just mainly going to be concentrating on the main display system for today. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to be filling you guys in on something new that's going to be coming to Niagara Fire Corals. Once again, we're going to be doing another new project, and I'm going to let you guys know what that is today. Okay guys, so I just want to start out with kind of where I keep my parameters. So as you know, if you've been following me, if not, there's a couple of videos you can look back on how I'm dosing the Chris Meckley method with Kalkwasser. It's an amazing way to dose your reef system. I'm easily doing it for this, 350, 400 gallon system with the Kalkwasser, and you can do it too. So I'm going to fill you guys in on that. But just as a basis, my system runs daily. I keep my alkalinity between 8 and 8.5. We'll get into what I do a little extra besides this when needed to keep it at that level. And I run calcium, runs about 450, and my magnesium right now is about 1300. My nitrates right now, I just tested them yesterday, my nitrates were sitting at 12, and my PO4 or my phosphates were sitting at 0.06. So that's where we're sitting right now for my levels in the tank, and we'll get a little bit into everything I'm dosing and how I'm doing it. To start with, I'm using the Chris Meckley method, as I just mentioned, and that is solely based around using Kalkwasser. I'm not going to get into the whole how to do it and everything else. You can look back at dosing Kalkwasser videos. I think I have 3 of them up now about the Chris Meckley method, and that'll give you completely how to do it. But I want to get into one thing I found with Kalkwasser. Now, there are many different brands out there, and the 2 brands that I've been using for the last 6 months roughly that I've been doing this method are the ESV and the bulk reef supply. Now what I found using these 2 products is the ESV absolutely worked. This is what I started out with. Absolutely worked. It did the job, but I found I had a lot of residual fallout, stuff that wasn't getting dissolved in the bottom of my vat, and it was pretty substantial. I was very surprised. So I tried changing and going to the BRS brand, and I found that I have almost nothing falls out of the BRS. And to put it into perspective, if you guys can see these 2 containers here, This container here is 3.5 pounds. That's the purchase weight of this, 3.5 pounds. This here in the BRS container, that is 4 pounds. That shows you the density difference in the two. I would say this one has a density of about baby powder, and this one here has a density of like cornstarch. It's very, very much more dense than this one. However, they both work. I just found this one here to work better. For Kalkwasser, 350 to 400. I'm sorry I'm saying 350 to 400. I don't know the exact volume of my tank. Like I said, the display is 270. I have a 125 gallon sump attached to it, plus an 80 gallon frag system. And you know, with displacement of rock, this and that. So that's the system we're talking about. For that system, Kalkwasser, we are dosing anywhere from, based on the day, anywhere from 12 to 14 liters of Kalkwasser every single day. So that's our main backbone of what we're dosing our tank with for our alkalinity and our calcium. Alright guys, so next up, this is one of those magic blue bottles that everybody talks about. I thought I would give it a try. I've been dosing this now. This is the Flatworm Stop by Zeovid or KZ. I started dosing this because I heard from a lot of other reefers, especially people that are known for their SPS collections, not for the use in eradicating flatworms, but for the use of tissue on our acros. So most of the people using this stuff said that they've seen good results in the tissue density on their acroporas. So I thought I would give it a try. I'm about halfway through this bottle. I haven't really seen a difference yet in the system. It's hard to say if I can justify continuing with this at $200 for a bottle. That's what this bottle costs. It's about 200 bucks. We'll see. By the time we get to the end of this bottle, we'll see if it has made a difference substantial enough for me to want to continue using this stuff. But I thought I would show you guys. For this here, I'm dosing, I'm not super precise with this. I am underdosing a little bit based on the directions of what I should be dosing. However, I am putting in anywhere from somewhere in between 5 and 10 mils of this per day. So that's what we're dosing of this Flatworm Stop. And again, unnecessary for most people. I'm just trying to get kind of to that next level a little bit, and I just wanted to see if this would make a difference. So it's up to you guys if you want to try this stuff. Personally, myself, right now, half a bottle in, I haven't really noticed any substantial differences. Now that could change, we'll see. Okay guys, so next up that I dose to the tank daily is the Fauna Marin Color Elements, and this is going to be for your trace elements. Again, if you're not looking to kind of get that extra little bit of color, or that, you know, that little bit of extra, go that next step. Water changes, keeping up with your water changes has been kind of the statement for many years, and has worked for most people. Nowadays, there's a lot of people that are trying to kind of go to that next level, get that extra little bit of color, that extra little bit of vibrancy in their corals. And in doing that, people are dosing traces. Now, myself personally, I just find that I do not think I would have the time to go as far as doing the moonshiner method, as much as I would love to try it. I just don't think I would have the time to dose each individual element that's required for my system on a daily basis. I don't have that time. I work a full-time job, social media. I'm taking care of 4 systems right now, and it would be too much. These color elements cover pretty well the basis of all your traces that you need for your system, and I just use this little cuvette, I guess you could call it, or you know, it has the mils marked on here. I just simply put a black line on there, the 5 mil mark, so it's easier for me to see. And I do buy this in the larger bottles. The larger bottles are about $50 each. Now this is Canadian money. They're about $50 each, but I use the larger bottles to keep refilling the smaller ones, just because these smaller ones are easier to use, you know, for filling it. And you know, I'll show you a video right here of exactly how I dose the tank when I'm dosing it. But I'm dosing 5 mils of each of these per day into my 350 gallon system, and I have noticed a difference with my ICP tests when they come back, because I have so many acros and corals in my system. I found a lot of my elements were falling really low or zero when I was getting my ICP test back. I started using this, and now they are not nearly as bad as they used to be. So if you find you're having those issues, this is a simple way around dosing some trace elements to your tank. I am underdosing this based on what it says on the bottle to do. I am underdosing it, but I just kind of did it over time and watched my ICPs when they came back, and I settled in at 5 mils a day, and it seems to be working good for me. So great product. I've had no issues with it. Seems to be working good, and I'm going to continue with that. So color elements from Fauna Marin. That's another product that I'm using on a daily basis in the system. Alright, so on to the next one, the Lugol's Iodine. I do use this occasionally. I do not dose this on an everyday basis, but a couple of times a week I do put 2 or 3 drops into the system, and it seems to be enough to keep my ICPs coming back within range. So again, may not be necessary for you, but I found that this combined with the elements and my water changes seems to be keeping me in the range where my ICPs are coming back that are acceptable. So Lugol's Iodine is another one that I'm dosing, but not on a daily basis. Like I said, a couple times a week, 2-3 drops into the system is all I'm using of this stuff. But as you know, if you've been following me for a while and you watch my videos, I also use a lot of this when I'm cutting and fragging coral, mixed with witch hazel into a solution that I put the corals in after they're cut to try and avoid bacterial infections and issues. And I found once I started using this, I had a lot less issues with corals, you know, peeling their skin or tissue after they've been cut in a saw. So I do have a kind of multi-use for this stuff. Okay guys, so next up, again, Fauna Marin. This is your N and P, your nitrate and phosphate. Again, not something I use on a daily basis. Actually, the phosphate is the one I tend to use a little bit more than the nitrate. However, I usually can keep my levels of my nitrates and phosphates in the range in which I want them to be in, simply with feeding and water changes. However, we all know that sometimes they drop a little low, and last thing I want to have happen is something zero out on me. So if I start getting close, I will absolutely dose one of these 2 products right here in order to make sure that the tank does not zero out on me and I keep my levels within range. So nitrate, phosphate, again, it may not be something you need, but it is an option out there. The stuff from Fauna Marin works really well. I've had no problems using this stuff. I've been using it for a couple years now, and again, not dosed on a daily basis. It's kind of dosed on a as needed schedule. So sometimes I could go months without using this stuff. However, I always have it on hand in case I do need it. Alright guys, kind of the last thing I'm gonna put out there that I dose. Now, all the stuff we're talking about today is kind of stuff that is done on like a regiment, or is kind of something I always use. My foods change. I do use a lot of frozen. Again, I have another video 6 months ago maybe. If you look back, you'll see where I actually make my own frozen food, and I show you guys how I do it. I don't dose. I feed a lot of that to my tank. It really helps keep my levels in check. Reef roids is a staple of what I use. I absolutely swear by this stuff, and if you're low in phosphates, this is also a great product to use to make sure you bump those phosphates up. But I'd say I use Reef roids like a large spoonful of this into this system, probably 3 to 4 times a week. So I do use a lot of Reef roids. I swear by it. I love the product, and again, it is not a necessary thing. However, I'm just letting you guys know the things I put into my systems. I do not put much of this into the nanos, obviously, because of their size. I do use it in the 150 gallon frag system as well. But Reef roids works great. I swear by it. I'll never be without it. Alright guys, so this is kind of my dosing collection of what I put into my large system on a daily, for the most part on a daily regimen, with the exception of those couple that I explained that I only dose now and again, like the N and P, the Reef roids. But for the most part, you know, the Kalkwasser, the Flatworm stop, the color elements, they're all dosed every single day, and it seems to be working well for me. The system, the corals have great color, and they're growing really well, so I couldn't be happier with the results I'm getting from these products. And I thought I'd share with you guys what I'm using in that system, so you guys can possibly try these products too. And if you're already using these products, have used them, and are going to use them, comment below. Let me know what you guys think of these same products, and how they're working for you. Okay guys, so I almost forgot to talk about the 2-part that I dose to the tank, and I'll just touch on that very briefly. As I stated earlier, Kalkwasser is being dosed as the backbone to the system, and it is 100% being dosed by pH, not by DKH, and that is how I'm able to flatline my pH at such a small window over a 24-hour period, and I don't get that big swing every day. Now, as I stated, I like to keep my DKH between 8 and 8.5. Occasionally it tends to want to try and drop lower than 8, and what I have in that case is I have a doser set up with 2-part calcium and alkalinity, and if my if my DKH gets down to 8.1, then the doser, my apex, the code in my apex will turn that doser on, and then the doser itself has settings in it that it is going to dose 10 mils, you know, every so often, up to an additional 50 mils in a day to keep my DKH above that 8 mark. So as time progresses, as you guys know, this tank and this system crashed on me about a year ago, and I lost pretty well everything. So the system still has a lot of rather small colonies. As the system grows, I am going to obviously have to start adding more and more of the 2-part, because right now I would say I pretty well have my Kalkwasser maxed out, and I'm not going to be able to add any more. I could add more if I wanted to start adding a bunch of fans and things like that to the system in order to cause more evap, but as it is right now, I'm pretty well maxing out my evaporation for a daily basis, so I'm using the 2-part to kind of top this up, and that's what I'm going to continue to do as the system grows in and fills in. So I am doing the 2-part, however, it's only done on an as needed, and it's programmed into my apex, and I don't have to even worry about that. I just have to make sure that I top up those 2, alkalinity and calcium, whenever it's needed. Okay guys, so that's pretty well it. That's what I'm dosing to the 350 gallon system. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I don't want to get into dosing a ton of different things on a daily basis. It's just too much work, and I'm just too busy for doing that. I think I'm doing what's needed to keep my corals happy and healthy, and that's what I'm sticking with. It seems to be working, and I'm happy with the results. If you guys have a secret recipe you're using, or you have special products that you think are a good additive, then let me know. Put it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. So as promised early on in this video, I told you guys I was going to fill you in on something new here, and I'm excited to say that we are once again adding another tank to the ensemble of tanks that I have down here now. This will be for the long future, as I see it now, the last tank that I will be adding in down here, and it is going to be a low boy 48 by 24 by, I believe they're 10 inches. It will be added on to the 150 gallon frag system, and what that tank is going to be used for is all of my acropore frags, or my SPS frags, and only SPS frags. They will all go into that system, which it will work great because the frags are much smaller. It'll work great. The height isn't going to be an impact, and we're going to be doing a whole kind of setup and plumbing and the whole 9 yards. I'll do videos on all of it for you guys so you can see how we set that tank up. It will have the apex on that as well, because I have an apex on the 150 gallon system, so I'll just carry over another EB8 bar over to that system, and we will be running that system off the apex as well. It's going to make life for me a lot easier. As it stands right now, the 80 gallon frag tank that's attached to the 350 gallon system is overfilled, and I do have a lot of larger plates in there where I'm growing out secondary colonies, so I don't have to cut out of my main display. I hate cutting out of my main display. So I am going to keep the 80 gallon frag system solely for growing out secondary colonies of all my coral, and then the low boy that I will be putting in the next month or so, that will be solely for all the SPS frags. So that's going to be some exciting stuff coming up soon. Make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And just remember, I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next time, make sure you take care and happy reefing.